Hi, my name is Catherine, and this is Accounting My Stitches, my YouTube channel where I talk about all things cross stitch. Today is Tuesday, November 4th, and I'm just going to dive right into it. We will start with finishes. If you've seen the recent videos, you will know what this is. Ta-da! This is Halloween Letters by Primrose Cottage on a 16 count Aida, dyed by me, and I finished it. I forgot to say this is what it looked like last time, but there wasn't too much extra. Well, I guess 397 more stitches got me finished with this. It took me 30 days of stitching. Give you a little pan. Ta-da! 6,669 stitches total. I started it on August 30th and finished on October 26th. I was working on this for hashtag pumpkin birthday sal for Laura Stitching by the Shore. As you can see, I did not FFO it and it's past Halloween. This is just going to stay in the under the bed box, I think, for a year, and then it'll come back out next year as a decoration. And moving on to whips, that was the only finish I have. We start with Tree of Books by xCountingtheStarsx. This is what the pattern looks like. This is what it looked like last time you saw it. I have done 927 stitches, bringing this to 26%, and my second page finish. Somewhat obviously, I can't do this right here, is the second page finish. Ta-da! I worked on it last week and also during Andrew's marathon. I got that second page finish right as he finished the marathon, which was very exciting. And yes, I'm very much in love with this piece, very excited to keep working on it. Ta-da! It's so funny. Last week, I guess I must have said ta-da a bunch of times. I keep meaning to go back and count them. The amount of people who commented the word ta-da made me think, I was like, was that somehow my giveaway word? I guess I did it way more times last time than I ever did before. I don't even know. It was completely unconscious, but so many people commented on it, so I might start consciously throwing it in there. Next to show you is Yesterday I Was Clever by Tiny Modernist. This is what the pattern looks like, and this is what it looked like the last time you saw it. I have added 565 stitches, taking it to 87%. Definitely worked on these flowers over here, and I finally added in the pepper up there on the tree. It was charted as a differently colored cat. And I always knew that I wanted to add pepper in there, but I was just hesitating, just like, well, let me finish the rest of it and like add in my changes at the end. But I kind of just got tired of it being empty. And also on the topic of changes, the yellow flowers next to the rabbit were charted as brown, but they were the only brown flowers in the chart and also brown flowers. And so I made them orange, and I think it's just fine. And I finished the bottom corner. And yes, so I'm going for a November finish with this for the hashtag Adopt a Familiar Sal, hosted by Nicole at Thistle and Thread. Yeah, just as an excuse to get this off the whip list. I'd love to whip down a bit, so that would be great. My next whip to show you is 'Tis Near Halloween by Lila Studio. This is what it looked like last time you saw it. This is also what the pattern looked like. And here is my progress. I have done 1,149 stitches, bringing me to 36%. I'm doing it on an 18 count Fabrics by Stephanie. And yeah, I've worked on the cart, the wagon, and those flowers. A moment for the flowers. I wonder if I can, oh, that's the wrong side. If I can get you to really look at it. This is Rami's Creations Eggplant, is the purple, and it's the same purple as in the dress, but just as I was working it and looking at it, it was just really doing something for me. I wish that I had made this second cat Luna, but I didn't think about it until I'd already started on the cat and the paws were in, and obviously Luna's paws are white, and I'm just so against frogging that I went, no thank you. We'll see if I regret it enough to frog it, or if I'm just going to leave it. It would have been really cute, but I didn't do it, so we'll see. Moving on to Christmas House by Tiny Modernist. So the last time that I showed you my progress, I had completely finished the second panel. So then I started the third panel, and I completely knocked this out in one weekend. And it's really few stitches, especially based on the percentage that it got me to. But I completely knocked out this third panel and then started on the fourth panel. So far, it's gotten 1,119 stitches between the two panels, bringing me to 79%. I will have this finished by the Jingle Ball class for the FFO of how to turn it into a gingerbread house. So on track, ahead of schedule for that, which is very exciting. The next whip I'm going to show you is The Apprentice by Autumn Lane Stitchery. This is what the pattern looks like. This is what it looked like the last time you saw it. And it has gotten 474 stitches for a total of 21%. As promised, I worked down into the mushroom, and I'm really enjoying the shading. It's funny, I was talking to, and so I'm doing this with Jess from Sloan Stitches and Jennifer at Little Paper Bear Co., and I was talking to them about it. I was initially having trouble picking colors to work with it because it's shading and they're so interlaced, and I really want to try to bring my needle up in a hole with as few other stitches as possible and then bring it down in the hole with more stitches. And I was like thinking way too hard about, oh, well, which color is that? And they were like, just quit torturing yourself, just do it. And so every time I look at it and I find myself thinking too hard, I'm like, I'm gonna just pick a color. And it's working out well. I will definitely keep working on the squirrel through the fall season, through November. That's it for my whips. I do have a new start to show you. As I mentioned before, I got the kit for the Heartstring Samplery bell pull, Christmas countdown to Christmas bell pull. So far, it has gotten 853 stitches for a total of 13% done. Ta-da! This is on 36 count vintage country mocha, and it's my first time on 36 count. I was a little intimidated by it, but I wanted the bell pull, and even on 36 count, this is how big the piece of fabric is. And so to do it on a smaller count, it would be even bigger. Like as is, I think the finished project is like 3 feet long. And yeah, so I did a center start. The center of this was right in this silver snowflake. That was the middle. And it's so funny. The very first stitch I put in was half a stitch off. And somehow everything else around it was correct. I say half a stitch off because I know that you need to start with it leaning against the post. If you don't know what that means, Google it, find another Flosstuber who is more equipped to teach you. Because I'm just not the expert on that. But so I, swore I did that. Every other stitch in that snowflake was correct. But then, and I know it was off because I used the snowflake to count to the number 13. And first of all, it's like 7 squares is usually the number, but that's 14 holes. And it's, my first time on 36 count, teeny tiny. And so I was counting over from the snowflake to the bottom corner of the 13. And I was really struggling with it. And I finally was like, okay, fine, this is it. Here it is. And so thankfully I had the thought. So I started stitching it like I did the bottom leg out and back. And then I started working up. And thankfully I had the thought, I had such a hard time counting that first one. Let me just double check right now, this part of the one should be, 5 squares over, 8 squares over, or whatever it is, from the this part of the snowflake. Is that right? And no, it was 1 fewer than it should have been. And I counted and recounted, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong. And then one of the snowflakes was half a leg off. But it was literally the very first stitch I put in. So I do not know how that happened, but everything else was right. And also it's a snowflake, so I just left it. And also this church, don't, I'm gonna bring it in for you, but don't actually look too close at it because suffice to say it's a hot mess. But the good news is that all of these motifs are pretty simple and like not actually that challenging, the motifs on this side. It's just the counting over here that I don't like. And so, you know, so only every so often that I have to do it. I'm getting through it. When I started it and I was having such a hard time counting, I was like, ooh, this is not going to be finished by the end of December. I'm not even going to push it to get any faster than like next Christmas because this is not fun. But then as I've been stitching it, I've been like, well, I do really like the simple motifs. And so, you know, who knows? That's that. Oh, and so I think I said it, 13% is where I'm at on that. And so next we have the winner of my giveaway. I will pop up last video I did a giveaway for this Bless This Farmhouse by New York Dreamer. And I used the YouTube random comment picker, and I will put the winning comment up here, but it is Bethany Bird Stitcher, and I know her. We've Zoomed, we've DM'd, and so great. Happy that she has won it. And so Bethany, yeah, will you just reach out, send me your address, and I will get this in the mail to you. Next we have Haul, and Luna obviously does not like when I hold her up and measure her for you. So I did Monday morning take a photo of her just next to a ruler, and she's clearly 12 inches, but I will have up for you a screenshot of her 2 weeks ago at 11 inches and then now at 12 inches. I don't know the fate of the rest of this segment, but she continues to grow, I guess, at about 1 inch every 2 weeks, although I guess a month is not really enough data to, say for sure, but she is growing. It's, it's a blessing and a curse. She likes to get into very small places. I don't think I told y'all. She, suffice to say, likes to get into very small spaces. And some of it's no big deal, and some of it I wish she wouldn't. Like I have a stitching chair, a recliner, and it like rocks and it, the feet kicks up, and she likes to play underneath there, or, hide under there to attack brother. And like, she's not in there a bunch, but sometimes she does go under it. And I think, I wish you wouldn't. Like, I don't know if she'd get hurt by the rocking motion or by the kick your foot up, but I don't know that she wouldn't get hurt, it makes me nervous. And so her getting bigger will mean that she doesn't get into those small, dangerous places, though obviously her being little is adorable. So, bittersweet. The other traditional haul that I have, long story short, figured out recently that Hade, Heaven and Earth Designs, is having a Halloween sale, like a 50% off. I think it's over by now, but I saw it, and so I did get a few charts. I haven't done a Hade before, but suffice to say, I was just feeling in a full coverage mood. And so the one I want to show you, I'll pop it up here, is The Mountain Cabin by Dominique Davison. I got the mini version. I've loved it since I first saw Lacey, the Sleepy Stitcher. She is working on it, and I believe it's the regular version, and it's beautiful. But I didn't, at the time, know about minis, like when I first saw it, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's beautiful, but I'm never going to stitch it because I don't even know what the number is, but it's, hundreds of thousands of stitches for the full version, and I said, that's not going to be it. And so I kind of just took it off my list of possibilities. But then I learned about the mini version. And again, it was just kind of idly on my list. But with the Hade sale going on, I went, you know what? I'm going to buy it. So I got that. I also got 25 count Easy Grid fabric. Obviously, for the first time, my tree of books is on 16 count. And I feel like that's good. It was a good, introduction. But I really do want to play with 25 count. And then I also I got CXC floss for it. I've heard people say good things about it, and especially for full coverage, I want to try, in my heart of hearts, I would love to be able to do it 2 strands over 1 tent stitch on 25 count because I want to do tent stitch. I would love to save, the extra needle sticks. We'll see if I like it. I will do a test. But anyway, I have all those supplies on the way, and I don't have a plan for when I'm going to start it. I was thinking maybe a full coverage February start, but I kind of don't know if I can wait that long. So time will tell. Also, I did want to say, I saw that Steph X Stitch also just got the mini version. We were commenting on Instagram, and I DM'd her, and she said that she actually already started it. So if you want to see someone working on that on the mini version, then go check out Steph X Stitch. And if you want to see the regular version, go check out Lacey the Sleepy Stitcher. Plans. So this will be a little bit rambly, although I suppose everything is. It always is. I obviously, as you saw my Yesterday I Was Clever came out, and I have worked on Yosemite a little bit, but it wasn't enough to show you. And so I did kind of sit down and think to myself, well, one, taking it out kind of like added it to my whip list in my head, and 7 is too many whips. And so I want to whip down. I'm kind of working on that. But then I thought to myself, like, okay, I need to figure out what was it about those projects that made me just want to put them away. Like what did they do? Why is it happening with these projects and not with others? And just kind of wondering. And I knew that for both of them, right before they went away, they'd gotten a ton of progress. So I sat down with my Notion and I looked, and it seems like both of them, again, right before I got sick and tired and like threw them in the drawer, they'd gotten definitively more than 1,000 stitches in a week, like within 7 days. I don't know if it was 1,200 or 1,300 or 1,100. I don't know exactly, but it was definitively more than 1,000 in that 7 days. And that's what I guess burned me out on the project. Again, I hadn't really thought about being able to burn out on a project. I'd heard people say it, but I didn't really know what that meant, but it turns out I do know what that means. And so now I know that 1,000 is the limit. I've really been in a full coverage mood, well, I guess for the last singular 1 week, but I have stopped myself with the knowledge that, okay, 1,000 stitches in a week is your limit here. And so like I would have wanted to, like I worked on Tree of Books, like I think it was like Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night after work, possibly even Friday night. But regardless, whatever it was, that was like 500 stitches. And then I knew I wanted to stitch it for Andrew's marathon, so I like made myself not work on it Saturday, even though I really wanted to. And so that's kind of why I'm like, maybe I'll just start the next full coverage so that I can scratch that itch. But so that's interesting to know about myself. And so I am thinking about 2026 plans now. And I had thought, oh, well, I'm okay with having whips like away that I'm not actively working on, and mentally, okay, that just won't add to my whip count, because I like my whip count to be low, to be where it is, just because it stresses me out to have too many whips. Everyone's different. I know lots of people don't care, and I love that for them, but it does kind of bother me. And so in my plans I was like, oh, I'll work on this for these months and then I'll put it away and whatever. But now that I know that I'm not cool with that, and also let's not burn out on projects in 2026, that has kind of changed my plans and lowered the amount of projects that I can start. And also I'm giving myself smaller goals, or like my total goal stitches for the month is under the average amount that I've stitched per month in 2026, just to give myself some grace. And then if I go over and above, things will get finished sooner, and won't that be lovely? Nothing really hard and fast to exactly share with you, other than I'm thinking about things, and that's what I've learned about myself. And that is all I have to share with you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I know there are so many great Flosstubers out there. And as always, I wish for you the serenity to accept the mistakes you cannot change, the courage to frog the ones you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Bye.